Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Guardian Hub podcast, where we talk Destiny, our love of the game, and sometimes interview guests. Tonight, we have your hosts, as always, Sin, DesRaven, and Hazel. That's right, you heard me. Hazel's the new host tonight. How are you gentlemen doing?
Magical.
Hey, that's my line.
Absolutely magical. You're not gonna steal it every now and again.
Hey, yeah, I'm okay with that. You're allowed to take it. Hazel, how have you been, sir?
Oh man, it's been chaos. So,
How so with the chaos?
oh man, just trying to get to. I was trying to hurry up and get to 1530, and then I looked at two of my characters, and I'm already at 1540. And I was like, oh, well, hell, I don't have to worry about that now.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm gonna start the my Warlock tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
So, yeah, legendary all the way again.
It's not bad to go back and kind of experience it, because I'm sure that if you were like me, you kind of went through a lot of it and it was overwhelming. There's a lot there. There's a lot of environment to take in. There's a lot of stuff going on. A second playthrough is not necessarily a bad thing, especially with a different character that could use the playthrough on it. So that's good. It's good you're going to get a chance to go back and experience it.
Yeah, I've already done it
over
twice.
again.
Yeah, I've already done it twice. I did it with my Hunter first time and then my Titan second time. So I'm gonna just round it out with that one.
Fair enough.
So
Fair enough.
yeah, Osteostriga makes everything a whole lot easier. I'll just be honest and say that.
You know what? That's fair.
Have you gotten the catalyst for it?
No, I'm still sitting on 2 of those alloy that I need. So
Ooh.
Have you done the
I don't want to
weekly
pay
thing?
400. So no, I'm not there yet.
Okay. Oh, really?
I'm
Wow.
not there yet on Finch. I'm only at 8 with Finch because I went right
Really?
into the campaign on my second character.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Let's say at 1540. I mean, all right. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest. I kind of got lost. After I finished it on my Titan,
You
or
know
my,
that's fair,
my Hunter, I was like, "What the hell do I do now?"
right? You get so used to crap just getting tossed at you, and all of a sudden, what do I do?
Yeah, exactly. I was just lost. I'm like, what do I do? I mean, they've got seasonal stuff beating me to death. Like, hey, go here, talk to Keitel, and I'm like, I don't even know what's going on. I'm like, okay, I'm lost. It's like a whole new Destiny.
Yeah, you just get some Gator's mindset in there and get some of those bounties going, and just really opening the chests and everything. You can really get Finch's level up quick, but definitely unlock it.
Yeah,
that's a great way to get there.
You can't do it
Sounds
super quick anymore right now.
yeah. Way to go, Bungie.
Actually, I am curious. Well, yeah, but yeah, 12 or no, that's not even 12. That's just patch note stuff. Yeah, stuff happened. Which is fair.
Happened. Lots of stuff
Because
happened.
if you know about the tier 3 deep site route,
yeah.
If you watched a video on it, pretty much everyone's like, you know what, Bungie's probably going to patch this, so do it.
Yeah, I wanted to. I really did. I just couldn't make myself get to level, 15? To get to Deep Site 3?
12.
Oh, it's 12? Okay.
I think it's 12.
Yeah.
Because I think 15 is the one of the selectable difficulties for the Wellspring, I believe. But just before that, I do believe I'm not 100% on that though. So there's always that. There's always that.
What about you, Sin? How are you doing?
Well, I'd like to say magical, but Des stole that. I actually had some news this week, and I actually expressed it in our Guardian Grief channel. I hit mortgage business with some news coming from Better.com. For those who don't know, Better.com laid off 900 people with a Zoom call. Shots fired when that happened about a month or two ago. Hadn't seen it really with our team until the first, and I was one of the people that got laid off with the market compression. So
Ooh,
I've been
damn.
the last couple of days. I've been into the job search, and I have a couple irons in the fire. One of which is going back to driving, and it's going to be down a little over an hour away, but it's a good base salary. They give you a car, and there's some commission to it as well. Nothing high stressful. It's out of the car business, out of the mortgage business, but we'll see. I don't know if I'm going to let them know tomorrow if I'm going to accept it or not. And either that or I wait out a couple of the other things I have working, and maybe I can stay working from home. But that's probably not looking likely at the moment. So we will see.
Mm, mm, mm.
But other
Well,
than that, lots of gaming. I've been grinding out some Forbidden West here in really for the most part. I've been grinding out a lot of Forbidden West during the day and doing my Destiny grind at night. Very much like I had been playing Destiny at night before. Just been supplementing with the daytime grind. And I think I've got Forbidden West almost done. Gator, do you have yours done yet? He's probably hasn't even finished his the first one, has he?
No. I think it still has dust on the cover of it. So.
I would say I would venture to believe that.
I know, right? Not a huge thing.
Yeah.
Like, what is something Gator hears all the time?
Amateur bullshit.
Oh, not a huge thing. So,
which can also be amateur bullshit.
yes.
Oh God. Ouch. Anyhow.
We do have a lot of Destiny to talk about though this week.
God, we do. I warned you all last week. This it's story time with Raven, baby.
Well, speaking which, why don't you lead this? Because we did forgo a lot of that last week. Just spoiler territory, fresh out of the gate with Witch Queen. A lot has happened in these 2 weeks. A lot going on. Why don't you kick it off? Why don't you tell us a little bit about the story, kind of some of the implications that we've been through so far, and we'll go from there.
Story. Okay, there's a lot of it. I mean, there's a lot of it, and surprisingly, there's actually a lot of nuance. Like, as many may know, like playing through the campaign numerous times, there is. Oh wow! Sorry, I'm just confirming something from the patch notes, and yeah, they just completely got rid of this. They didn't disable the chest; they got rid of the deep sight place to activate it. Holy crap! Yeah, they just got rid of that thing. So yeah, you can't even. Wow. So there goes access to the other one too. Anyhow, all right, sorry, got distracted. But no, like story is amazing. As we all know, of course, story opens up with Savathun just appearing. After Mars just comes back for reasons, and that's how it starts. But it's still something of like a nitpick for me. I don't necessarily like that. But it's neither here nor there. Because Mars came back, and we go to Mars, and Savathun appears, and we spend like half of the campaign with people going, "Man, this is so unlike a god of cunning. This is so unlike this mischievous thing, genius that we're normally facing." Because again, like the big reveal, or one of the big, not even the big reveal. We thought it was going to be like those of us that knew the Pastebin spoilers thought that this was going to be a big reveal that Savathun was actually chosen by the Traveler. She did not steal the light. She earned it. Bum
Yeah.
bum bum. So yeah, and again, like, what's the greatest trick of all? When the trickster's telling the truth. Fun stuff. Anyhow, so yeah, so we find out like Savathun was chosen. She like completely lost her memories. But that doesn't stop the schemer from scheming at all. Because I think post campaign, there is a evidence board thing, quest that you can do that basically tells you that the glaive, the enigma that we picked up and crafted and pretty much gained our deep sight capabilities from, was planted in Savathun's throne world by Savathun herself for the expressed purpose that if she was indeed chosen by the Traveler, she would have a way to get back her memories. Which, of course, a good third of the campaign is us doing exactly that. And letting her know what her exact plans were. Go us. It's fantastic. But no, it's actually like really great writing too. I actually really love that.
Mhm. That was great to see. I
Yeah.
was like, the look on my face was just stunned and horrified all at the same time.
Right. The moment you realize like the three lights in the background of like that like reflection chamber is her.
Well, you can see
It's
that.
like,
I mean,
oh.
she's in there the
I
whole
mean,
time.
it's not okay. I just didn't like entirely pay attention until close to, oh, so you got my memories back. And it's like, oh no, it's her. So that's also, you know, partly on me, but still, like, having that revelation like moments before it became relevant is like that was kind of neat.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
then
think
we go
the other
through
one, yeah, the other interesting moment
right.
was in the second to last mission, the last chance, I believe.
Yes,
Oh.
where we take what some of us thought was a statue. And it's funny because when we originally get this statue, the supposed statue of this worm familiar, that of course represents the worm familiar that Savathun or Sophona used to basically lead her sisters down to the worms to, you know, garner the power of the deep to become the hive originators that they were. I had an interesting thought when we were getting this thing where I had, what if that's not a statue? What if that's the familiar? Because I mean, it was already dead when Zathana like got it. She said it was a dead thing. And then, you know, revelation from Akora. What if this thing's alive? Echo? So it became a true surprise that my jaw dropped for a solid minute. Come to find out, there was like, for those familiar with, of course, the Books of Sorrow, was of course again the tale of Sathana and her siblings and receiving the power of the deep and literally like making the hive and how they became such a force in the universe. And in the beginning, they were warned by the worm familiar, which was something that their father, the Osmium King, had clung to in life. Had warned Satana of a great syzygy. Or at least that's how I think that word is pronounced. It's been like 5 years and I still don't know.
It sounds right.
Right? But basically a god wave. was going to come and just annihilate their way of living. Somehow Sathana was able to confirm it. They went to the deep because the deep was their only salvation. No one else cared for the krill. The deep was there for them. Yeah, as we found out, bullshit.
Yeah, that
Basically.
whole 2-hour Bife video is basically all BS now. It's like a 30-second video now about what happened.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of it is still like relevant. It's just now it's all built upon a lie, because the witness apparently noticed that the traveler was going to choose the krill, the proto hive. So yeah, apparently the traveler was going to choose these krill and fold them into the light. So what does the darkness or the witness do? It's like, you know what? Screw that. I'm going to lie to these people. I'm going to tell them this god wave is coming. Yes, a god wave is coming to destroy you. Your only salvation lies in the deep. And of course, the great god of cunning fell for it the entire time. So, yeah, it was all built upon a lie. The hive only became the hive because of a lie. It's quite potential. I'm thinking, like, my current theory is that the krill were supposed to be the first guardians, the first risen. Because after all, they were described as being the bottom of their food chain. Like absolute bottom. That's why I think that's one reason why they were called krill. Because they were the predator of nothing. They had extraordinarily short lives. I mean, they were unremarkable entirely. They were specks in like a universal scale. And yeah, I think they were going to be the first guardian, the first light chosen, potentially the first ghost bearers. Because I mean, just look at what they did with the hive. Like, they made songs that could kill people. They've bent and twisted what death means. And just imagine what they could have done with the light and what it could have become. But we won't know that now. Well, we mostly won't know that now. Because of the lie the witness told. So yeah.
Interesting. There is definitely a lot there with that. Real quick, so just to clarify, the witness, is that the person that we saw at the end of the campaign in the cutscene with floofiness out of his head?
Floofiness out of its head. Most people might say smoke, vapor, but floofiness, yeah, that'll work.
Make a mind. Yeah.
Make a mind, yes, right?
That is leading opinion also, make a mind. No, that is considering it was subtitled as the witness during the cutscene of the reveal of the lie, and he has the exact same voice. I'm going to say yes, that is the witness. But of course, my larger question around all of this is the witness the winnower? Is my larger question. Because, I mean, Savathun mentions that this thing has had many names, but it focused on the witness. And it's kind of bending and twisting what I believed about the winnower. With Savathun's entire like description that it is not the darkness, but it wears it like a cloak and gives it a wicked shape. So that's some interesting stuff. Which again, hilariously, the witness is another one of those aspects that was leaked. And we were thinking potential third party between light and darkness, because I guess with early dialogue it was not going to be associated with either potentially. But no, it is the driving force of the Black Fleet, which supposedly is, it's had names recently as the Voice in the Darkness, the Entity. I want to know, is this thing the Winnower? Which of course was potentially introduced to us Shadowkeep, I believe, at the end of that campaign, when we were talking to ourselves. I'm almost leaning to believe that they are the same thing, because of course when the witness is first, in his own its own cutscene, one of the first terms he uses is salvation, which of course was, the doppelganger of us. That was one of the key terms that the darkness used to speak to us, was salvation. It was one of the key terms that the darkness used to speak to Aramis, was salvation and house salvation. So far, I mean, like I said, I would like some confirmation, but it does seem like the witness and the Winnower might be the same person.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And did I hear correctly, Hazel? You watched a two-hour Bife video?
Yeah. My wife and daughter, they went to the dentist, and I had to drive them. So I went ahead and checked out that.
Sat in the car and did that?
Yes. It was glorious.
That sounds like my life.
My data went right to hell. So
Right.
Hopefully you got unlimited.
not exactly, but I've got enough, so it should be.
Okay, good.
Effectively. So yeah, of course, we've had some questions. I posed some questions here or yonder, asking for points to discuss, and of course, generalized questions. And one of them was really good. Of course, Red Grackle did ask, is how much of the Hive's origin story is still relevant at this point?
Yeah.
Like I said, the origin itself is basically shot. I mean, again, it was all built on a lie. So it really doesn't matter what the sisters thought they were going through. It wasn't true. But effectively, from our standpoint, here's the paradox of knowing the truth. Which, hey, this entire expansion was about learning the truth, and Lord, did we? But no. So I mean, it's still relevant because it, of course, fueled the Hive and what they were doing. So it still led to the same culmination of events, but also at the same time, again, it's kind of shot because it's all just utter crap. I mean, at the same time. So yeah, that's the sad paradox of something that's entirely built on a lie. Its effects are still there and felt and real. It's just kind of not. So
Right.
That's fantastic.
So with that, I mean, with us knowing that, everything was built on a lie and that, the story that we've known for what? How long has Destiny now been out? 4, 3, 7, 8 years, right?
I believe this is year 8, so 7 years.
Right.
I think.
Doesn't that really give Bungie the flexibility of, messing things up a little bit and taking some chances in the story, and it really means we could be in for a crazy ride these next few years with expansions, really. Wouldn't that be true?
I know Nulzy has the theory that we're going to have Hive Guardian allies. I don't know how much I buy into that because, again, we still have millennia of anti-Guardian, mentality, born and bred into the Hive, to contend with as well. So, I mean, It's not as
Right.
simple as, the Elixir that basically forgot their past over the past couple hundred years. I mean, this has literally been their existence since we were primordial soup. So it's hard to say which way they're going to swing with it. Does it give them the flexibility to try it? 100%. Because there could be some hive that have a level of sentience that says, you know what? Why don't we not do this? You know?
Well, couldn't
True.
that person be Savathun?
No, yeah, I mean, 100%. Sabathun could kind of come to her senses and become this unlikely ally who,
Okay.
yes, spent the vast majority of an effectively eternal life hunting the traveler for some reason. Like, it's quite potential that, I mean, because she was even surprised that we were able to overcome her in the story. And also, if I can make note, I loved that last mission for the perspective that it gave us of the traveler. Like when Savathun draws the traveler into her throne, we have never been that close to it. And that thing is freaking massive. Love it. But no, yeah, she was even surprised that we were able to really overcome her and stop her. Because I mean, who else? Like, yeah, she's able to use like a bunch of different types of light. She's able to switch between Nova Bombs and Nova Warps and Blade Barrages and Ward of Dawn, constant activation.
That's an understatement.
So I mean, yeah, she's able to use it, but also at the same time, again, she spent millennia eating light, drawing it from Guardians, studying it, looking at it, thinking about it, and even just as recent was another. It was another small callback that I loved in the campaign. It even mentions that Savathun was experimenting with void light from Guardians, aka the Savathun Song Strike.
Yep.
I love the fact that they called back to that. Because that was one of my leading theories of how she would have been able to steal the light if it was stolen, would have been those experiments. But it wasn't stolen anyway. So yeah, so I mean, like I said, there's a bunch of little callbacks, and so of course she especially once gaining her memory, of course she would know how to bend the light and how to use it. I mean, that and her recent time studying under being given access to Ikora's library and everything because she was posing as Osiris. I mean, good lord. We're talking in one of Osiris's former students who was doing all kinds of crazy stuff and research. Who knows what he knew about the light? I mean, he
True.
knew enough to dual wield dawn blades, that's for sure. God, I loved that writing of that lore. If we can go back and make a cutscene of anything, it would be that bit of lore of Osiris versus the Herald of Zivarath. My God. Oof. Anyway. So yeah, so oh my God. Oh, and again, another question. With the Cabal and Elixir among our allies, which of course, playing through the season, we do have a tenuous alliance with the Cabal, and I love the fact that I think this is not the first time, because I think Shadowkeep's. I mean, I wasn't around to play Shadowkeep myself, but from what I hear, Shadowkeep's first season was very tied into the actual campaign story of Shadowkeep, at least a bit. I kind of love the fact that this season is also tied into the campaign story like so closely. And in fact, tied in so closely that legitimately the appropriate path to play is to do, I think, maybe complete the first mission. Like, as soon as you're able to go speak to Keitel, that's when you go speak to Keitel. And that's like, quote unquote, the canon, like, path to take, is like to complete that first mission, go speak to Keitel, start that nonsense, and then go back to Mars. And like into the throne world. So I kind of love the fact that it exists, that like there's an actual place where this seasonal story exists to start with. Considering Keitel's like big motivation for being at the tower is because, oh hey, you just killed a bunch of my people on Mars. What's up? And we're like, oh, my bad. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, with Cabal and Elixir among allies, and the Hive having more nuance / personality, which I don't think they have more, but I don't know. I'm a little far too deep in the lore, to not see the Hive's nuance, like even from Taken King. So I don't know. But yeah, that basically leaves the Vex, the Scorn, and the Taken as our three main antagonists. Or that is the question, does that leave the Vex, the Scorn, and the Taken as our three leading antagonist races? Which definitely seems to be how they're shaping it, because the Vex they're not really with the darkness or the witness, because that's some of the words that we got from Shadowkeep. The fact that not all of the Vex are exactly with them, not like his man Oryx. But they all still serve the same function, because this, I guess, more backstory for the Vex. I've kind of covered it before, but the Vex were a pattern. If you don't know about the, I guess, kind of like mathematical prediction game or whatever called the Game of Life, that literally there's like the subset of rules. There's a dot here, but if there's a dot by itself, like at the end of a quote unquote turn, then it dies. But if there's three dots together, then they make a new dot. So things can end up making patterns and through these cycles. And this was the flower game that the Winnower and the Gardener would play. They would literally just simulate life. Every time they would go through a simulation, the same pattern would end up taking over everything and being the only pattern left alive. Which is basically what inspired the Gardener to introduce itself as a rule, aka the light. And the Winnower was like, "Nuh-uh, you can't do that. I'm gonna make myself a rule. Here comes the darkness." So effectively, this pattern, as these two paracausal forces were born and clashed, escaped into our current universe and bonded with microorganisms in Radiolaria, to become the Vex. So they aren't necessarily with the darkness, more so but they are still fulfilling the darkness's, or the Winnower / witness's, wish in there being one final shape. But of course, I still believe the darkness's main bet on that final shape is the Vex. I mean, they've done it before. The only reason they can't do it now is because there's paracausal forces in play now, and they can't wrap their heads around it. They know enough about the material universe. They've been simulated enough times that they know how the world works and how to bend it to do incredible things like travel through time. but they don't know how these paracausal laws work. They can't simulate them. They can't like get behind them. Taken are of course created essentially by the witness / the winnower, who I believe was already teased recently about being created by the entity. Considering, I guess, lore thought that Oryx created them, but Oryx was basically just given the capability of commanding them and making them. But he's not their originator. And then the Scorn, I guess thanks to the Presage mission, I'm personally guessing that that's the connection that Callus's experiments culminated in linking the Scorn to the darkness, which, because they seem to be darkness-controlled entities now, since their main leadership of the Barons are gone. So yeah, and that seems to be our three main antagonists, but of course, there are still Fallen that don't give a crap about Elixir values. There's still oh god, what was it? No, there was something in this story. Ah, crap, and I can't remember it now. Actually, it might have been a thing. No, it was a Keitel vision. Where Keitel gets this vision of a bunch of like cabal being called psionically, and she saw a vision of her father behind it, like I think at or around Mars. So yeah, they're teasing Callus again. So there are going to be a faction of Cabal that are linked to the darkness through Callus, it seems. Just when we thought we were done with him,
Right.
just keeps coming back.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't
so
mind
many
there be. Yeah, I was gonna say I definitely don't. I wouldn't mind more Leviathan action, or
I
even
know,
if
right?
they decide to bring that back in some way, shape, or form. I think that would be interesting to bring, back possibly the raids when they bring Callus back to the equation. So,
Indeed. But yeah, like I said, I do believe, like whoever mentioned, I don't know, that seems like forever ago now. I can see the Hive, like at least a faction of it potentially becoming allies. If not for the Hive themselves, at least like Finch. Which is a great example of like ghosts having autonomy. Finch is a Hive ghost that refuses to res his guardian Hive thing. He refuses, and he helps us instead.
I was kind of
Um,
intrigued by that idea
Mhm.
that he just, like you said, it's it's a refusal of doing anything with it.
Yeah, 100% because ghosts are autonomous. Like our ghost seems to be, kind of like a go with the flow, whatever kind of guy, and doesn't quite seem to always have like his own real process or thoughts about things. But yeah, in lore, I mean, there's been instances. I know they teased. I think it was a D1 grimoire. That they teased the fact that a ghost thought that the traveler wanted it to raise a fallen as a guardian. And that ghost spent like so long like pacing and like second guessing if they actually wanted to raise this fallen as a guardian. Just for them to actually finally like cave in. They did it. Come to find out there was actually a corpse under the fallen. And it wasn't the fallen itself, but there was a human below the fallen. So little swerve there. But yeah, so they've been teasing this for like a long time, and I really love the fact that it's being brought to the forefront that no, ghosts have their own wills. Like they help us legitimately. They can deny service, and we will be entirely boned, just like that Hive.
That's an intriguing thought.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm just trying to think about that, and I mean, That was one question that I had. Really, was about like Emaru, which is
Mhm.
Savathun's ghost.
Yes.
So when he just took off, did that like? I mean, he could have rezzed her, right? And
I don't think he left.
You think he got absorbed by the Traveler?
No, I think the Traveler moved him. I think he's alive by the graces of the Traveler. Because
Yeah,
I mean,
that
the
makes
curious,
sense.
like the effect that they used to whisk him away, didn't seem like anything ghosts have like. I don't know. It seemed like a different effect to me, and like I said, the timing and everything. And there's Amaru just kind of like, we're just kind of stuck on this Mexican standoff of like, well, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? And then all of a sudden he's gone.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know. It seems like something. I don't know. Like I said, that's what it seems like to me. Because I have also an entire theory that I have an entire theory that the Traveler wants the Hive as guardians. Like all the running that it did, all the civilizations it touched and just left. I think it was creating a perfect melting point, like a perfect spot for it to be able to sit and attempt to get the Hive back on its side. Which essentially culminated in Savathun's big trick. That's my thoughts anyway, until something else, uh, entirely blows that out of the water. It's a wild thing for sure, but that's what I'm leaning towards. Like its entire journey and running was just to try and find, like having it choose us. Like maybe we were just the best way to keep things at bay long enough for an opportunity to arise for one of them to actually die, like for good, without its worm, so that way it could res it. So yeah, that's I don't know. Yeah, how's that for food for thought?
Well, it definitely gets you. It's a lore definitely gets you thinking for sure, and everything that we've
Indeed.
experienced so far this season and up to this point. Man,
I haven't even gotten to Marasov yet.
oh boy.
Because surprise, Marasov gives us a visit. I mean, she's sadly kind of a footnote in this entire thing, and I think a lot of her appearance is more of a joke than anything else. I mean, not really a joke, but something very lighthearted. Because legitimately, half of her mission has you thinking that she's going to take Savathun's old worm to herself, just to legitimately turn it into a weapon. Which for all of those curious or like leaning into the meme of, oh yeah, we'll fight it and turn it into a weapon, this is the first time that that's happened like in front of us. Legitimately. Sure, we built the weapon that would contain Oryx's soul, but this is the first time we've legitimately sat there and watched an enemy be turned into a weapon for us to use, and that's its sole purpose.
Yeah, that was intriguing to watch too. Definitely an interesting mission to get through, to say the least. And I think I was a little slow to get it done too. I think I was probably one of the last people out of me, you, and Kingsley
I have no idea.
to do it. But it was definitely an interesting mission. Fun to get to try it out. I haven't used the weapon a lot. Parasite.
Neither have I. You mean Hive Baby Launcher?
Hive baby launcher, yes. Next, we'll have a baby Elixni launcher.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure people would riot over that.
Right? I mean, good lord, they almost rioted over the freaking Hive Lover launcher. But also, the one thing I do love about that quest and that entire chain of events is, like, the one thing that we could probably take from it is the fact that we actually got to see a point where Mara, like, pauses. She stutters. She, like, stumbles for a hot second. And I love that, like that little chink in her character. Like, we finally got to see her in a moment where she wasn't like 100% in control. She did not know what to do. Like, she had that brief moment of doubt before just kind of like recollecting herself and going back about things. But I love the fact that they showed us that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably about the best thing that really came out of that entire quest. Because I see the whole like Mara's sus stuff, but it's like I guess I'm too much into comic books to think that she's sus, because I mean, Batman has plans to murder the entire Justice League. Professor Xavier has hidden files to murder like the most dangerous mutants, whether they be good guys or bad guys, doesn't matter. He actually has plans to murder them just in case. I mean, this is like Fiction 101 to me. You have super powerful beings. There's going to be this one person, whether they're your ally or not, they're going to try and figure out how to kill you for the good of, for the greater good, essentially. So that actually just kind of reinforces Mara's like greater good mentality to me. But again, that's me, and I might be too much of a comic book nerd. But like this is like everyday stuff to me.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that makes sense anyway.
Yeah, it's interesting though. I mean, I just enjoy just seeing where it could go. And then I don't know if you
Right.
saw this, but the person that did the overarching themes to the story is going to come back for Lightfall. They hired them back.
Nice. That's good. I love, because again, I love like the writers are definitely like, I knew like the writers and everything were getting like, they were definitely finding a stride from Beyond Light. Because yeah, Beyond Light wasn't that great. It wasn't that super great as far as writing goes, but the seasonal stuff was like, head over heels better than anything that come before it.
Out of this world, yeah.
Yeah. So the fact that they started hitting that stride there, I think it really just helped in their focus in the campaign on this. But yeah, then they just have so much more to work with when you're, when you're really talking about Hive. There's so many more callbacks you can make. There's just so much more you can do, other than focusing on like this one little section of Fallen, whose biggest history was House Devils, which in lore, House Devils' biggest thing is, they fought against the city, just like every other fallen house in the solar system. So, yeah, I don't think much like the writing was super weak in Beyond Light. It's just more so, again, like they had more to pull from for this, and so many more like references and callbacks. The fact that Oryx has been getting more and more like name drops as things go on make me believe that he's going to return, like not just potentially the returning raid, but I think he might be coming back. Like he's had more name drops. Like he's had a lot of name drops.
You're betting that's the raid that's coming back, basically.
Oh, I've always bet that that's the raid that's coming back. I mean, Kingsfall has had like Kingsfall has member berries attached to it. I mean, it's nostalgia. It's like the most nostalgic thing. Like people may have preferred Wrath better, but Kingsfall just has way more nostalgia connected to it.
Well,
because it was.
Well, I was going to say real quick here. The other thing is that if you notice, like all of the like promotional material for this it's better than Taken King.
Right. But yeah, I mean, and like I said, with so many name drops for Oryx, the fact that the strike has the fight between Oryx and Akka to get a fragment of the Tablets of Ruin, and then Savathun outright saying, it's like, no, I'm not going to take that mantle. I'm not going to follow in my brother. I'm not going to live in my brother's shadow. Like that. I mean, just all these name drops and like all this stuff, and like this door is still wide open for the throne of the Taken King, and like the legitimate leader of the Hive. This throne is still open. So I mean, I think think he might come back. And that's going to be scary because Oryx was 100% like a follower of the darkness. Like, who knows if Savathun can get through to Oryx about everything, but I mean, again, like, Oryx dedicated everything he was to learning the secrets of the dark. So, yeah.
But let's just follow that rabbit hole for a quick second, okay?
Yes, less.
So what happens if he is actually the let's just say like the hive vendor? Because like, you know,
Mhm.
he talks to Savathun and she's like, hey, we've been played, you know. How would he take that, do you think?
See, the interesting thing is, I think Oryx was the most twisted by the darkness, because Oryx had the most freedom when it came to like taking the hive worms into themselves. Because the deal was, you know, that they could not betray their nature; they had to grow their nature in order to feed their worm, in order to grow more powerful. Sivu Arath was power, which is why she's a god of war now. Savathun was cunning. That's why she tricked people. That's why she schemed. Because the more she schemed and the more she tricked, the more power she grew. Oryx literally was curiosity. He could do anything, but as long as he's learning, he was growing more powerful. He had like I said, he had the least restrictions on his exploration. I actually would not be surprised if he was, considering he actually spoke to this entity directly. He created a conduit for the entity, the witness, the winnower, whatever. He created a conduit for it to enter an ogre so he could have a conversation with it. I would not be surprised if he already knew.
True.
Oh my.
It's like, yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, is
That's some
because
next
he
level stuff.
right? Because he learned so many secrets of the darkness, and like, he took the power to take. Like, I just would not be surprised if, yeah, he learned that, you know, it was all for naught, and and that's the thing, because Oryx was the navigator. Oryx was like the driving force for the hive to become the final shape. Like, the hive should be the final shape. So, like I said, I just would not be surprised if he already knew. And that's definitely where like my line of thought is right now. Because even during his death, he didn't really regret so much, like anything really, except for the fact that he would not become the final shape, which is one reason he himself like schemed to create a ritual, to create a vessel for his soul to stay in, so that way the thing that killed him can use him as a weapon, so in some way he could still potentially become the final shape. So yeah, I think he's way too into the darkness to really give a crap. And that's one reason I would actually love for him to come back, to actually get a confirmation on that too.
Man, I'm just taking a minute to process all of that. That is definitely,
Right?
a lot to take in, for sure. But it's good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, like, but again, this is like rabbit holing speculation. This is the part of the lore I definitely enjoy, because there's so much possibility now. Because again, that just this one little plot detail, one little swerve that they introduced, that can really turn everything on its ear. Because the most caring one out of them all, really, was hilariously Savathun. Savathun wanted to become a mother. She wanted to like leave a legacy. She like cared for her siblings and everything. Whereas Siva Arath wanted the power to protect. Orcs just wanted to learn stuff. But it was really Savathun was essentially the heart of the Hive Sisters. You know, that got twisted into a millennia-old murder machine, but, you know, stuff happens.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I dove into the lore because I thought it was the Winnower as well. And I went back because I never understood what the flower game was and things like that. And then I watched the Byth video and he really went into it. And I was like, oh my God, like that makes so much sense.
Yeah, you should, like, for those that don't know, like, a quick second, look up the Game of Life. It's a legitimate thing, and it's a legitimate mathematical process. It's crazy. But go ahead.
But I mean, when I was like listening to this, I'm like, you know what? I mean, it's like two ideologies that are just, I mean, you can't say that, I mean, the darkness is wrong. I mean, it's complicated.
But also, hilariously, it's not. Because the ideologies of light and dark are so incredibly simple. Because the dark's ideology is survival of the fittest. It is like the key component of evolution, essentially. Strong stuff survives to pass its genes for things to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like one of the cornerstones of evolution, essentially.
Exactly, right.
The light is all about cooperation. It wants a variety of flowers, essentially, to grow and bloom and showcase. But without a paracausal force, there's no benefit to it. There's no way, like, survival of the fittest won out every time, and that was the Vex. But yeah. So yeah, I love the fact that they're both like such simple worldviews and ideologies that are both extraordinarily neutral. They are not inherently good nor evil. Which is hilariously one thing that the Winnower told us, like in the lore of Shadowkeep, it tells us like, I'm not evil, things just happen. Like, the strong survive, things get passed on. How is this evil? So yeah, it's
I mean,
interesting.
I really identified with the darkness when I heard that. I was like, wow, you know, I'm like, I mean, I get it, you know, you know, it's kind of like chaos theory versus, you know, evolution.
I mean, it's hippies versus evolution, essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really want to break it down into like I guess human terms, it is peace and love versus evolution.
Versus order and yeah.
Man, I think we could go down down this rabbit hole all night.
Oh, I could.
Sorry for derailing us there, but
no worries.
I 100% can go down these rabbit holes because again, I just love talking to people about lore, and like I love having these like lore discussions because even as I'm speaking, sometimes I get like these just flashes of inspiration of what could be, and then like talking with people, it's like Hazel bringing up the questions like, well, what if Orcs does find out? It's like, ooh, that's interesting. And yeah, so I love these moments. I absolutely love it when new lore comes out, when they screw with the lore like this. I absolutely love it. Absolutely.
And didn't you have didn't I see you tag maybe some questions somewhere that people had, or I can't remember if it was in the.
Oh God, I don't even know.
I'll have to go back and look. Maybe if we did, we'll save them for another night. But we got a lot coming up here this weekend. Of course, we're recording on a Thursday. By the
Raid
time
coming out.
by the time you hear this, the raid would have already been out. It's coming out Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, and it's called Valve Disciple. Right? Did I get that right?
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm actually excited for it. It'll be the second time I think I'll be participating on day one. So I'll be looking forward to doing that. No hopes of being world's first, but I'd like to set my goal pretty high on trying to at least finish it day one for the emblem. So we'll see how well that goes. If we have some stamina to be able to complete it. But
Crap, I think
go ahead.
I was about to say, I actually think I have this weekend off.
Nice.
Ooh, get you a team.
Yes.
Well, I was like partially invited, but also at the same time, I didn't know if I was going to be off.
Yeah. I was going to say, I thought I sent you a message and I don't remember getting a message back. So I was like, well, maybe he works.
Well,
Or maybe you messaged me back and said you worked.
No, well, okay. You sent me a message, and yeah, for some reason I didn't answer. I don't know why. I don't know if I just got busy or whatever. Then Kingsley messaged me, and I had this mini conversation with him, which I almost thought he got back in touch with you, but I would have been an entire wild card basically until today anyway. So
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Sadly.
Well, I'm sure there's going to be teams trying to scramble last minute to come together. So I know there's a couple people that are interested that don't have a team yet. Actually, kind of circle back a little bit because we didn't really discuss too much of what we did this week. I actually, Hazel, it's Hazel's fault, but I met a guy named Marcus and some other people from the nerds community. I still have not listened to their podcast, so shout out to them. I will try to listen to that at some point, especially if I'm getting back into the work where I'm going to be having to drive an hour plus one way to get to a job site. So I'll probably be getting back into listening again quite soon. But get to play with them. I know they're looking for a team. Again, by the time anybody hears this, not live, it's already going to happen at that point. But I mean, if you're looking to us, I know they need a few more guys to put together.
Nice.
Definitely. And go ahead.
Put my name put my name in their mouth.
Absolutely. And I know they listened to us. He mentioned to us while we were playing with Hazel the other night that they do listen to us. So
nice.
You guys are hearing that? We appreciate you. I think we have a little bit of a TWAB this week, not quite as juicy and meaty as some of the previous ones, but it is definitely an update. Some of it's raid related. Again, by the time you listen, it's already going to be out. But Des, why don't you touch on the TWAB a little bit and on some of the notices there?
I know, right? Let's just say that contest mode and day one or world's first race is legitimately becoming the rules and regulations of entering an actual contest or sweepstakes for anything. Because yes, at least on day one in contest mode, as people know, 1530 is the power that you need to be at. If you're anything like anybody, especially if you've completed legendary campaign, you're pretty much good to go by now, I think. Because even my hunter can cap at 1540, I think. Even though it's mainly my hunter I've been playing, not even cap. I'm just sitting at 1545 right now. So that's a thing. There are certain weapons that are disabled in the raid, especially for contest mode. They will be now. Here's one thing I am liking is they are specifically disabling certain items because they can provide potential benefits. more so than intended. But they're not disabling them globally. There's apparently been some kind of change or something. They found a way to actually disable them inside the Vow of the Disciple. And apparently they will also negatively impact your power level even if they're equipped and nullified. So don't do it. This is the Ikelos SMG, the Imperial Needle Legendary Bow, the Grand Overture Exotic Machine Gun. They just released that. Anyway, the Wardcliff Coil, Worm God Caress. I'm actually not surprised that that's breaking things. Peregrine Greaves, once again, for some reason, not surprised. And Suppressing Glaive, 100% not surprised.
Definitely not surprised on that one.
My hunter brethren, use Suppressing Glaive and Stylish Execution. Do it. It was advised to me by Nulzy, and ever since taking that advisory into consideration and using it, it is like the most fun thing ever. Oh my god. Because Stylish Executioner lets you go invisible when you kill something that's affected by a void debuff. Well, guess what? Suppressing Glaive means that if you attack something with your glaive, it gets suppressed, and that's considered a void debuff. So you poke a thing with your glaive, you go invisible. Now, be warned, there's like a 2-second cooldown timer from when you can go invisible again. But after that, you poke something, you come out of invisibility, you poke something again, you kill it, you go invisible. Oh my god, for some reason, if I could visualize it, it almost reminds me of Nightcrawler in the start of X-Men 2. You're appearing here, poking something, and just vanishing. It's fantastic. I love it. Anywho. So do that.
Do the thing.
Yeah, do that. And of course, again, contest mode 1530. The other disabling stuff, there is a note here that they might disable more stuff. Whatever. And yeah, what? Yeah, the belt. The wrestling belt is fantastic and gorgeous and gaudy. But of course, I'm a wrestling fan, so of course I love it. Jacket is cool, but I don't know. I think I like the previous jackets better.
Yeah.
Maybe not the best jacket, but I mean, it's still like a $200 jacket, and I'll never get it probably.
Right. I'm definitely not going to be getting a $200 jacket at this point.
Right. Let's see. Now moving along, there are things. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Okay, there are some things that they are going to be tweaking. There are some things that they've heard feedback on, and they are responding to that feedback in the TWAB. One of those things is the Wellspring weapon drop rates. Now, sadly, we're going to have to wait for a patch targeted for next Thursday. But once that patch rolls around, they will be increasing the drop chances for both standard and deep sight resonant versions of the weapons that drop in the Wellspring.
Nice. And I know a lot of people have talked about that and saying it's taken them hours. I've seen some chatter around it, and I think a lot of that revolves around there's a couple weapons needed for one of the memories or one of the boards, the creeper board that's in the Enclave.
Yeah.
So, and when you have to craft those weapons, you need multiple of them. You need a lot of times you need to remove the resonance or the material from it multiple times in order to be able to get a copy for it to actually melt in order to be able to craft is what I'm looking for there.
To be 100% fair, though, the Wellspring weapons you only need 2 of in order to unlock the pattern. So if you get deep sight resonate 2 of them, you'll be able to craft one. So that's fair to me. But what's not fair is spending 2.5 hours doing Wellspring attack getting like 5 come to passes, and not a one of them is a red border. Ouch.
Yeah.
I spent the last hour I had of game time doing the deep sight tier 3 freaking loop. And then got freaking salty because I had like 6 red border weapons in like 10 minutes. Not even kidding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In like the 30 to 40 minutes, I did it while falling asleep. Anywho, Ascendant Alloys.
This is a big one.
Yeah, the currencies are meant to be in-game rarity, which I get that, and that's cool. Master Wellspring completions, well, they're apparently buffing up, or going to be increasing your chances of receiving an Ascendant Alloy through Master Wellspring completions. Not like this change, because again, Master Wellspring is like a 1580 difficulty thing, so it's definitely in-game. So yeah, so getting a gold and platinum champion completions at the end of these activities will have a better chance of dropping Ascendant Alloys. Which 100%, I'm not actually mad at the rarity of Ascendant Alloys, because again, Lord's 400 legendary shards for 1 a week. I get that it's rare. And I think I only had to run like 2 weekly missions to get one to drop, which I immediately used that to put into my Osteostriga. So yeah, I don't really. I mean, I want a bunch more, but again, I get the fact that it's rare, personally. So
Yeah.
but hey, better chances at getting more for doing a very hard or potentially very hard content.
Right. Understandable.
Yeah.
And I agree with there being some rarity to some of these materials. It doesn't need to be easy for every aspect of the game. There's a little bit of a grind to it. So I think that's fair. And I think on top of everything else they put out this season, I think they've made some fair compromises and made the grind where it needs to be.
Let's see, things that they're also watching in Gambit, which they've already warned us that they would be watching Gambit and seeing how it played out. They are checking things out. I know I just said that, sorry. Yeah, topics that they are, of course, like looking at, and they're actively monitoring these certain areas. There's things like heavy weapon usage. Sadly, I haven't even stepped into Gambit yet. There's too much crap to do, especially in grinding out Wellsprings.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said too. Sadly,
Right.
Every time I have to see Gambit, it's like, oh, sadly.
Well, except I actually mean it, because I like Gambit. I'm one of the few people that will say that unsarcastically or unironically. There we go. But yes, they are with heavy ammo being more abundant with the changes to clearing out areas to get ammunition. They are noticing, of course, an increase in tracking rocket launchers such as Gellhorn. Huzzah! Invader frequency. They are still seeing feedback where it's difficult to handle invaders, especially during primeval phases. And primeval health, with the changes to primeval healing, we're seeing some reports of lengthy boss phases thanks to some skilled invaders, which I kind of think that's fair and kind of the point of Gambit, but whatever. But also at the same time, those are 3 aspects of Gambit that they are actively monitoring, but they do not have any hints, clues, or feedback onto what they'll be doing to help with that. So right now, just struggle as you can. But again, there are things that it's in their mouth, let's say. So yeah, and then Prime Gaming, hard light. Get your hard light, everyone. It's a hard light. It's an ornament. Is that the Braytech Sparrow? I swear that looks like Oh wait, no, that's Azure Azazel. Okay, that's weird. It looks like that Braytech one. Anyway, and of course the One of Us Legendary Emblem for your uh with the Risen Projection Legendary Ghost hologram. So yeah, and 2 unique limited time cosmetics. Why don't they say what these 2 unique limited time cosmetics are? Oh no, I'm sorry. That is the Risen Projection and the One of Us Legendary Emblem. I read that kind of backwards, so I got a little confused. My bad. Anyway, and they mentioned something about Steam Deck and Destiny 2, but I personally don't care. Known
Well,
issues are
Yeah, I don't think anybody has a Steam Deck probably in our communities. But if
No,
they do, they could, I mean, really get into some trouble because they can get banned.
Oh really?
So,
Wow, that's what
yeah.
that says. I might actually have to read over that later. Suck it, nerds. I'm sorry. I'm kidding. Oh yeah, the hotfix has happened. One thing that is getting fixed, which again, or it has been fixed, not even is getting fixed, but has been fixed, which again, hunters use suppressing glaive because apparently it was a bug that hunters couldn't cancel out of a glaive melee combo by using their class ability, which is kind of one of the only things that really kind of made glaive suck. Well, before I found out about suppressing glaive as a hunter, was the fact that you couldn't dodge out and like go invisible and void. You can now, so use it, do it, have fun. It's fun. They disabled the enhanced 1-2 punch trait. Bravo to people that have actually been able to grind out enough to get that. Also, the enhanced pulse monitor trait disabled. Known issues. Glaive mods are not dropping from legendary engrams. I actually didn't even notice that. But I have not had glaive mods drop from legendary engrams. That seems to be...
I was gonna say I didn't even notice that.
Right? See, there is the Osteostrega catalyst shape cost is required for subsequent reshapings of the weapon. My question is, why would you reshape it after you get the catalyst?
Because you still can change the perks on it. Regardless of the catalyst, you can change the perks on it, I believe.
You can, but why would you not at least near max range?
Because I don't think it's unlocked at first.
I mean, well, okay, all right. This is also my perspective, which the Jedi are evil, but also, the fact that it took me forever to get that one extra Ascendant alloy, and I had been using Osteostrega like
crazy
constantly. Yeah. So by the time I could unlock the catalyst, I pretty much had my final build locked in on my Osteo. So, I mean, it's fair if you can. Like, I don't even know like what level the catalyst is like required, or if it requires a level, whatever. I don't know. Because again,
I think it's like level 10.
10 or 15, I think, is before you can actually unlock the catalyst.
Okay. Well, I mean, most of the perks stop at level 13, I think.
So get to level 15, make it the way you want, then get the catalyst, is what we're saying, right?
Yeah. Just lock it in. Like I said, go max range, because why not? Oh well, not even max range. Because you can use, I think it's Hammer Forged, which gives you just a range bonus and no negatives, and I think that and Accurized gives you 97 range. And yes, that's good. Okay, you don't need 3 extra range to go negative into another stat. 97 is fine, but you can max out at 100 if you really want those triple digits. 97 is fine. That's what I'm using. It's freaking fantastic. So yeah, but apparently this can be bypassed by reapplying the catalyst during the reshape process. So there's all that. And I'm quickly scanning. Oh, something super important is apparently Aeon safe exotic Titan gauntlets are missing a gold stripe. Super important, guys.
It
I
is.
noticed. I noticed. Literally unplayable.
Oh yes, and Ascendant Alloy purchase limit on Master Rule did not refresh at the weekly reset. That is a bug, just in case you're wondering. All right, and that's the 12. Stuff's
Nice.
broken.
We knew that. We knew stuff was going to be broken, right? With the launch of a new expansion.
100%. New expansion laws, like if you really want like the Hazel quote to be true, look at a TWAB before a raid.
Yeah.
Like before raid launch, because this is like the biggest example of, yeah, this is broken, we've disabled this because it's broken. Like, oh yeah, this is disabled because it's broken. This is like the perfect example of that. 100%.
Hey guys, lots of stuff is broken, but enjoy it anyway.
Yeah, just not in the raid, at least day one.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm
Banned from
super glad. Right, I'm super glad they actually did that too. Like that they can actually separate that now, because it doesn't ruin the fun for absolutely everyone, just for people doing day one.
Right.
Though
After that, go ham.
Yeah, right. I will 100% admit I was going to go into the raid with Suppressing Glaive and Stylus Executioner 100%, because it is that fun and broken, just normally. You want to talk about survivability? My God. You know, I never knew. Like, having a hunter with 2 different ways of going invisible at pretty much most times, man, I die a whole lot less.
Yeah.
I start getting shot and I dodge. Oh, wait, I'm fine. I kill something with my glaive. Oh, yeah, I'm fine. I'll just run around these guys. Unless you're in Legendary Campaign, don't do that crap. Okay? Be careful. If you're critical health, they will keep shooting in the general vicinity they last saw you. Normal difficulty, they'll stop shooting. When they're aggressive, like in Legendary Campaign, they don't stop shooting. So get out of there. Word of advice. So yeah.
I appreciate that all 3 classes have something to keep them alive, you know?
Right? Yeah. Like, Devour feels busted. Even though, okay, all right. So I've officially tried all 3 Void classes now. I have not finished because I finished normal campaign on my Warlock. And I've probably about halfway through normal campaign on my Titan. So I'm kind of a little more able to say for feel and whatnot now. As well as things being missing. And thank you for people like Hazel that definitely pointed out, hey dummy, Keen Scout still is there as a fragment. Which is, to be fair, I found that out like the day or 2 after we recorded. And I posted it in our Discord. It's like, hey guys, don't mind me. I'm an idiot for this episode. Because I thought Keen Scout wasn't a thing. Yeah, it's there. It's the thing. Yeah, I was dumb for a second. It's okay. It's fine. Happens to all of us.
Hey, I'm waiting for those raid mods.
Oh, tell me about it. But no, yeah, Keen Scout is there. So yeah, legitimately hunters are missing Heart of the Pack, and that's about it. I mean, it keeps us from being just slightly more supportive, but I love the fact that hunters lean on like invisibility and survivability. That's kind of like Hunter's thing. Because legitimately, Heart of the Pack is a supportive, like team-based thing, but hunters in the lore are solo people. Mm-hmm. They care more about survivability than helping the team. So I mean, it fits to me. It is kind of sad, sort of, that Warlocks lose the capability of like consuming a grenade to activate Devour. But also at the same time, I freaking absolutely love the new Warlock Melee. this thing is like a Hadouken that tracks things. It is fantastic. You like shoot it out. It tracks about like Eyes of Tomorrow. You like shoot it out and then like zips towards something and they explode and it is fantastic.
That's an
Love
interesting
it.
way to put it.
I mean, it's even got the motion of Hadouken. Like just what, just and like my wife laughs because every time I use it, I have to cry out Hadouken. So yeah,
What's wrong with that?
nothing, right?
What's the problem?
Exactly. it's just how things go, right? You go pew pew when you make laser noises, or when you're shooting like laser guns, and you scream Hadouken when you do a fireball motion. I mean, come on. But yeah, love that melee. Like I said, the easy access to Devour kind of does suck, but also it just seems, I don't know, it still kind of, I guess, seems easy to go into Devour. And the fact that there's that one fragment that extends the timer for Devour Invisibility and Overshield. So it feels like that could stay up forever sometimes. The hardest one I'm really getting into the swing of using is the the Titan's new shield throw melee. I don't know how to make that thing ricochet to hit more than one thing.
It is tough to use. There's some good things about the Titan supers now. The quick with the Word of Dawn and the barricades that grant overshield. The overshield from the barricades is nice, especially in the harder content.
Oh, 100%. The fact that you could throw up like a rally barricade and you're just gaining overshield and you have super fast reload. It's fantastic. I love that.
Yeah. More versatility to the class versus having to use a Warlock with Lunas.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Like you could actually like there is some like emergency survivability. Like I don't see it of course I don't see it replacing the well, but at least I can see like I said, a rally barricade, avoid rally barricade with that. At least helping survivability so that that way the well could be saved for like more important damage phases, I can see that happening potentially. Which again, giving more supportive roles to a class that's more about supporting things, like Titan. Love that. Like I said, I love how they built them, and I super cannot wait to see how they break down and like keyword the other elements and see how they make those. Because I mean, they've made Void so fun on everything. Like in its own way, everything is just so fun. I just cannot wait to see this treatment and this. I love this whole like I said, this verb and like keyword. Like I said, breaking down, getting like the spirit and the feel of the subclass while breaking it down in such a way that like, because all Void can benefit from fragments. Like Keen Scout was great on Hunters for like exploration. Now it's great on any Void class. The whole Void extension thing, like for the timers, is fantastic. I like run that constantly on every Void class. Explosions when things die was kind of like a mix between a Warlock and a Hunter thing. Well, now Titans get it too, even though they kind of did for that middle tree. The only thing I find sad is the fact that Void Titan supers were so similar to one another, they were able to just compress them into one super.
Well, two.
Well, I'm talking about just the shield itself.
Oh, yeah.
Because the shield was technically 3 different supers.
Yes.
It's just that one was super basic because it could also go into Ward of Dawn. Right. The other one had 2 shield tosses, and then the middle tree had the giant banner shield.
Mm-hmm.
And they just condensed it all into one. And Ward of Dawn. So I almost feel like it almost makes me feel like Titan's got like the shaft on supers, but also I can see this happening for basically Dawnblade Warlocks and Arc Staff Hunters and Arc Titans. And maybe Solar Titans too.
Yeah.
And actually a lot of different a lot of other element supers can probably be condensed into 2. Huh.
We got a
Go
lot to
figure.
look forward to with that, and kind of see how that's gonna play out for sure.
I just can't wait for them. I hope they buff Blade Barrage in some kind of way. It feels absolutely awful now. Now that we have Mobius Quiver, that does essentially the same thing, but 10 million times better. Like, going to a solar subclass is painful for me now if it's not Nighthawk.
Yeah,
It's painful.
I mean, Blade
Like,
Barrage
even
seemed to work out for the Hive Guardians.
right? I mean, that's the sad thing, because I ran a something, Psyops, and it was a solar singe. So of course it's like, okay, I'll use I'll use my solar subclass. It's been a while since I used Blade Barrage. Let's see how this works. And I'm used to like absolutely murdering things with Mobius Quiver, and I can't even like damage this guy enough to hit one of his damage gates with Blade Barrage, and it's just like, oh man, now this really feels like it sucks. Like, Blade Barrage still felt like a good runner-up because Hunters didn't have that much that could like deal burst damage. Like, Arc Staff is still good, it's just sometimes you don't want to keep track of light, heavy, light, heavy, light, heavy all the time. So Blades felt okay, but now that there's a better secondary option, almost probably primary option, Blade Barrage sucks. My God, Blade Barrage sucks. Guys, Blade Barrage sucks. I'll tell you what Bungie needs to do. No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry. Moving on.
Oh man, I think we got. There's a lot. Before I forget, shout out to a few team members. We had Zebrak, Yoda, Ronan, and myself, and actually 2 LFG people here the other night. We ran Last Wish for my final triumph and allowed me to get Riven's Bane. We completed the Shuro Chi challenge, which
Nice.
so I add that to my seal list. So before I forget, shout out to all you guys and the 2 LFGs. Probably not listening to this, but thank you. Shoot, we got a lot. We got a lot coming up. Any final thoughts, Hazel?
Oh man. Can I just say that I'm really anxious to get either the day 1 emblem or the day 2 emblem. I like the day 2 one better, but day 1 is a nice flex.
Yeah,
right.
I would also like to get that as well, but I guess we should see.
Okay.
We'll be trying.
For sure. 100%. And yes, also for those that don't know, again, like these like these last echoes, void fragments that apparently are unlocked post raid. Why? Because Bungie told us so. Super fantastic, because they actually will allow classes, especially classes that specialize in one of these void verbs, to triple dip into said void verb. So such as defeating weaken. Nope, that's not it. Oh yeah, finish your final blows, grant invisibility. Nice. Picking up an orb of power grants devour. Oh, that's probably where the grenade one went. It's probably that. Huh, fair. And something. Don't they have an overshield one? I guess not. I don't see it. Huh. They must have something with overshield, right? Anyway, I'm like rambling and crap now. Well, then that means Titans won't be able to triple dip into overshield. Well, no, because their melee can go into overshield with the banner and potentially Ward of Dawn. So okay, that's fair. So I guess that's how they built that out. So Titans can already super specialize, where everyone else has to wait for after the raid.
Fair.
I cannot wait for this one where defeating targets with grenades grants volatile rounds to your void weapons. Oh, it's gonna be fantastic. You're gonna watch things explode forever. Anyway, so yes, those are probably gonna be out by the time this comes out. So you're probably already having fun with it and going, "Yeah, Raven, we know. Why are you an idiot?" I don't know. So yeah.
Timing.
Why do you have to call names?
Right? Why you gotta be mean? God, I have feelings.
Jeez, gonna call you Gator.
Ooh. I'll give you an 8 for that one.
Oof. I give it a B.
Yeah.
Oh god. But closing thoughts. I'm having way too much fun.
For sure.
And like I said, with Void 3.0, I'm having way too much fun on subclasses I barely used before. I was not a Void guy, except for Warlock. I did run Void Warlock quite a bit for Cataclysm. Cataclysm was fun to me, especially like supercharged grenades and crap like that. Cataclysm was fun. But anything else, I was Solar Hunter and whatever. This was actually Solar Titan too, because I love hammers. But I also love fists. So yeah. And then Stasis came out, and Stasis Hunter 100% because of crowd control. But now that Mobius Quiver is such good damage and Deadfall. It is Deadfall, right? I keep calling it Deadfall, but I'm not 100%. I'm looking at my character screen, and it is entire Deadfall. Okay. Sorry, I had to confirm that. It got on my nerves. Yeah, and Deadfall is already such a good supportive and target tool anyway, and then of course you have a roaming super built in with it, with Spectral Blades. I mean, I'm having way more fun with Void than I ever have, with how they've set it up to specialize. And isn't that the point of a power fantasy anyway? To feel like you can do things.
Yeah. We definitely have that power fantasy right now.
Yeah, I just think Bungie kind of lost their way with the power fantasy. They almost wanted it to be too realistic.
I don't think they wanted it to be too realistic. I think they found that if they went too far off the deep end, it could bust things in bad ways. Like Stasis and PvP. A lot of people did not have fun with that. I freaking loved Duskfield Grenade. Oh my god, that reminds me, I have not taken Vortex Nades into PvP yet. I gotta see that pull.
Well, while we're on the discussion of being in PvP, are you all still doing the raid? Live update?
Yeah, so live update, yes. We actually just now made it to Atheon.
Nice.
Oh god.
All off comms.
Yes, all off comms. And I was even first one to go in and for Gatekeeper too. With this,
nice.
Oh god.
yeah. Let's go.
Well, let's get back into the game, guys. I'll let you all get to it.
Seriously.
As we start wrapping up, I mean, give us a feedback. What you guys think once day one hits? Your feedback of the raid. Did you complete it on day one? Give us other feedback. Any suggestions you want us to discuss on the show? Feel free to leave them for us. That's what we're here for. But Hazel, host Nutter, as we wrap up, tell the lovely listeners where they can find you.
All right. You can find myself, Hazel NT, anywhere across the interwebs. And you can find our podcast at guardiandowncast.com. And that'll have all of our links, Discord, all that good stuff there. And, aside from that, I thank Des and Sin for having me on and shooting the stuff about this game that we love,
Absolutely. And definitely check out the Guardian Downcast. We give Gator a hard time every single day. Tag him every single day in every Discord channel. Not really, but we still love it. Love him, and we love you guys. Definitely appreciate you, Hazel, coming on. DesRaven, tell them
Yes.
where they can find you.
Well, before that, I will say the fact that again that we do give Gator a lot of crap with tagging and just like crap in general. It's a miracle he hasn't just like quit Discord and uninstalled it like altogether. So shout out to you, sir.
A saint.
Right. He's got some patience. Like I definitely know there's times where it breaks and he just kind of goes silent, but the fact that he knows when to go silent is a fantastic skill to have. But anyhow,
right.
You can of course find me lurking in the Discords. Dying now for people to start asking lore questions now that more people are completing this campaign, because again, the chums in the water, lore sharks about to come out. It's a fantastic time. Anyway, you can also find me on Twitter at DES_Raven, home of the Hephaestus Index, which has been started. Oh God, I just smacked that. Anyway, it has been started. I am working on it. I'm having to do some format changes. So there are going to be, it's not going to be like sheets by ammo type anymore. It is going back to my original format of sheets by weapon type. So there's going to be like sheets for auto rifles, pulse rifles, rather than primary, secondary, and heavy. Because I did not foresee when I did that change, I did not foresee when a new yearly thing would happen and the seasonal stuff would just vanish, and me having to keep open 2 different sheets to modify information all at once about what things, especially when there's a whole new world loot pool now. And I'm having to keep track and change of a bunch of information and having to open multiple different spreadsheets to keep track of different weapons. So I'm consolidating that back down again to weapon types, which is going to be a little more cluttered in the document to click into, but trust me, it just makes my life a million times easier when keeping up with this thing. So please understand. I love you all, and Sin, for the love of God, take us home.
Well, you can find Sin with Riven's Bane attached over on Twitter at Sin_media, or in the lovely Discord. Come find us. You can find our show. Actually, let's step back one moment. You can actually find Kingsley Mac also in the Discord, who couldn't make it tonight. He has some tickets to some show with a wife, so he is cheating on us with her. We'll allow it, so she's your wife. And you can find him over on Twitter as MC Kingsley. Now you can find our show on Twitter at The Guardian Hub, or over on our amazing website, theguardianhub.com.
The best hub on the net.
Thank you, Des, again for that. And thank you, Hazel, for joining the shenanigans tonight. And until next time, listeners, we will see you next week. Bye.
Later.
Get toddled.